Hello, good evening. Today we'll be covering the seventh chapter of Punjab Economic Survey, which is public finance. Finance is a very important component for any budget or any state because you need money to run the state, you need basic finances to support any sort of welfare schemes and to basically for any sort of recurring expenses if you need to meet those or any sort of developmental expenditure, everything needs finance. Okay. So basically, in times of COVID, in the state of Punjab, agricultural activities were less impacted, and even services like banking and financial services, IT and IT-enabled services were less impacted due to COVID. They were not exactly insulated, but the impact of COVID was far less on these sectors than other sectors. So there was some sort of insulation for these sectors. Even before COVID-19 pandemic, Punjab was on the path of a sustainable growth. It had stable fiscal indicators and it had a consistently declining trend in the outstanding liabilities through the GSTP ratio. In the state of Punjab, the state developmental loans are projected to form 59% of Punjab's outstanding liabilities as of March 2021. Considering the state finances, the tax revenue has a higher share in revenue receipts as compared to that of non-tax revenue. State's own tax revenue, which includes taxes on income, property, and capital transactions, as well as commodities and services, account for majority of state's tax revenue. The state GST and sales tax have the largest contribution in the state of 39.8%. So state GST is actually the largest contributor, 39.8% and 16% respectively, towards Punjab's own tax revenue in 2019 to 2020. Even in the pre-GST regime, sales tax had the largest contribution towards state's own tax revenue since 2011 to 2012. The state GST was the major contributor in 2018 and 19, and it is also estimated to remain the same during 2019 and 20. The grants from center contribute the bulk of non-tax revenue, and apart from this, the general services which have been provided by the state and the interest receipts are the primary source of state's own tax revenue, with 66.7% and 16.9% contributing respectively in the years 2019 and 2020. The state tax, state excise tax on taxes on vehicles, taxes and duties on electricity, and state GST together account for 92% approximately of Punjab's own tax collection in 2019 to 20, whereas the rest of the taxes came from taxes on income and taxes on property and capital transactions. Punjab has the highest state's own non-tax revenue to GSTP ratio in 2019 to 20 among select states. It's not all over India, but select states. Punjab, basically the economic survey tries to project many times statistics, and it will say that many things are highest in select states. So you need to be very cautious while if you're reading it in detail, that where it is select states and where it is talking about all over India. The central GST, corporation tax, and income tax are the leading contributors towards Punjab's share in central taxes. Further, Punjab has one of the highest CAGR compounded average growth rate in revenue receipts between 2015 and 16 to 2019-20. Again, it is among select states. So any sort of figures that are among select states are not exactly very important because that time they can't say select states and they can't mention those states. So it is important to know that it is good, or it is bad if that is the trend. But highest or lowest in select state category is not exactly very important. The taxes which are levied by the government of Punjab have been subsumed under GST include value-added tax, except VAT on petroleum and liquor, central sales tax, purchase tax, luxury tax, entry tax, entertainment tax, advertisement tax, tax on lotteries, betting and gambling, state cesses and surcharges related to supply of goods and services. These things become certainly important because they can very easily ask you any sort of objective question on which of these taxes are not subsumed under GST or which of these are subsumed under GST. So it is an important topic anyhow, GST is important. With a share of 80.9% in 2019 to 20, revenue expenditure dominates the state's total expenditure, and with a share of 47% in total revenue expenditure, combined allocation towards social and economic services. The rise in allocation towards economic services was driven by a spike in allocation towards crop husbandry, forestry, and wildlife. Punjab's primary deficit as a percentage of GSDP is least among select states. Again, select states. Punjab has the lowest primary deficit among select states in 2019 to 20. Not only is it lowest amongst these states, it is also declining temporally. That means it's actually declining in time. Yes. Punjab's performance on deficit indicators over the past years has shown signs of stability. It is estimated that revenue deficit of Punjab will be restricted to 1.2% of the GSDP as compared to 2.2% in the previous year. Prudent debt management policies are being implemented. Fiscal deficit was 3.1% in 2018-19 and estimated to be restricted at 2.9% during the financial year 2020 to 21 budget, as per budget estimates. The state is yet to achieve the targets of deficit indicators as prescribed by the Punjab Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003. That means state has not yet achieved those targets. The composition of outstanding liabilities has also undergone a change, with Punjab moving towards SDLs, which are open market borrowings and state developmental loans, basically, and loans from banks and financial institutions. State developmental loans and NSSF, which is National Small Saving Fund, were the largest contributors to the outstanding liabilities as of March 2019. I think this should be March 2019, contributing 38.4% to 30.1%. However, as of March 2021, the share of SDLs increased to 59%. Moreover, with the recommendations of 14th Finance Commission, please comment who was the head of the 14th Finance Commission, of excluding most of the states and UTs from NSSF, the share of NSSF in 2021 has further declined to 6%. Finance Commission. So 15th Finance Commission. So please comment who was the head of the 15th Finance Commission. Punjab's share in horizontal distribution of central taxes has declined from 2.45% in the 5th Finance Commission to 1.15% of in the this should be 11th Finance Commission, and this has now increased to 1.79% in the 15th Finance Commission. So the value that is important for us is 1.79%. This could be due to reduced rates attached to the fiscal capacity distance. In 11th Finance Commission, it was 62.5%, whereas in 15th Finance Commission, it is 45%. Recommendations of 15th Finance Commission are important, especially in regard to Punjab. What is the percentage of Punjab? What is the share? All these things are important, and in general also. The 15th Finance Commission introduced a new performance-based criteria, which is the demographic performance, by using a measure of total fertility rate. With an emphasis on the need to control population, the Commission awarded those states which have been able to achieve a lower TFR, and Punjab is one of them. Even in previous chapters for human development, Punjab has managed to keep its population growth in check, and it has achieved a fertility rate which is lower than the replacement rate. The replacement rate is considered as 2.1. The share of Punjab's population in India's population has declined from 2.49% in 1971 to 2.33% in 2011. Further, as per state's memorandum to 15th Finance Commission, this was followed by a denial of settlement by the Government of India, pending procurement season, accumulated gap between outstanding grants, amid RBI's direction to funding banks to provide for the mismatch, rejection of facility of CCL. So these are just general statements. You can't remember all of them. General recommendations by 15th Finance Commission are rather more important. The state developmental loans are projected to form 59% of Punjab's outstanding liabilities as of March 2021. This we've already seen. There are further certain initiatives that have been implemented. eKuber, it is a core banking solution. So which initiative has been started or which is linked with what field or which organization is important, they can be asked in objective exams. It is basically a core banking solution for processing of payments and receipts. In an e-payment model of e-Kuber, payments are directly processed by the RBI, thereby eliminating the roles of agency banks and their resulting delays. There has been a cyber treasury portal to facilitate online transactions between citizens and the government for various government services. Integrated financial management system is a state-run financial management system to facilitate sound public financial management. Such pointers can be given in good governance initiatives in subjective exams, basically. Then we have a human resource management system called Manav Sampada. So the name is slightly important that, okay, what kind of a system, but otherwise also it is very clear. Manav is human, Sampada is, I think, cordial relation, so that kind of a thing. It is a software developed by NIC for computerization of service records of government employees. E-State is a web-based application for creating a single database of properties owned by government in its various departments. Thank you. This was also a short chapter on public finance. Tomorrow we'll be looking at the final chapter of governance.